Ladies and gentlemen, you guys good? All right. Thank you all for being here. This really is a great day for Melrose and a great day for our state municipal partnership. My name is Paul Brodeur. I have the honor of being the mayor of the great city of Melrose, and I am your host for today's announcement. I want to thank you all for coming here. We are here to celebrate the fixing, the redirection of the El Pond Culvert. For those of you who are not familiar with the geography and topology of Melrose, there's a lot of water here. Most of it over the years has been buried underground. That doesn't mean it's not around anymore, but it does mean you have to deal with it. And right behind me, kind of in a diagonal across this property, there is such a culvert. We need to move that culvert in order to redevelop the property behind me. The property behind me is chiefly Caruso's Restaurant, kind of a legendary landmark here in the city of Melrose. As you can see, the business closed due to the death of Don Michel Caruso, a real giant in the city. But it is time, it is long past time to reinvigorate this block, to reinvigorate our kind of gateway to downtown. And I am delighted that we're taking this step today. I do want to recognize a great team from the city of Melrose who's been instrumental in getting us to where we are today. Denise Gaffey, many of you are familiar with Denise from her work. She is our head of planning. She's our city planner. Senior planner Lori Massa is also here with us today. And our folks from DPW and the engineering division, both Vonnie Reyes and Jason Coy, tremendously helpful. Melrose is very fortunate to have a talented, highly skilled and experienced management team in-house to help manage this project. I want to thank you guys for all your hard work moving this forward. I certainly want to thank our state partners, including Juan Vega, who is our Assistant Secretary for communities and programs within the Executive Office of Housing and Urban Development. And so a little bit of info about this project. So the restoration and repair of the existing culvert will strengthen stormwater management. So this is not just about development, it's also about managing our environment. And it will, of course, as I said, create a new gateway to our downtown, accessible to public transit, walkable to our main business district, a tremendous opportunity for the city. It's been a priority for over 12 years since the owner left. The plan for mixed-use development is certainly very much in line with our master plan and our zoning, and again, we look forward to doing this work. With that said, I want to thank, in particular, Secretary Keneally for his continuous support for this and other projects to help Melrose and other municipalities move forward with important economic development priorities. And he unfortunately could not be here today, but I am delighted to recognize and introduce Ashley Stolba, who is the Undersecretary at the Secretariat, who is going to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It is so nice to be back in Melrose. The last time we were here was November. We had a small business tour where we visited 25 cities all across the state from small businesses, and to really thank them for all the work that they did during COVID. But we went to Buckaloo's. I think that was one of my favorite stops among the whole 25 cities and towns, but don't tell anyone else that, although I realize I am on camera. Also, thank you to Senator Lewis, who is here. It's nice to be here with you today. And it's so nice to see Lauren Grimmick. You and I were able to talk a couple months ago. It could have been longer than that when you first started. So definitely a good hire, and we're very happy to have you here. I do want to also emphasize what you said about our team at the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. Juan Vega is an absolute rock star. I'm going to embarrass him for just a second, but I did the math a couple weeks. You have managed over $650 million worth of grants throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts during your time here, which amounts to over 550 projects. And that's before this one-stop round, which I'll explain in a minute. But you've done an amazing ways of work, and we're very proud to have you on the team. And I know you all know Jong Wei Tommy, who is your contact here, who works for Housing and Economic Development and manages a lot of our MassWorks grants too. So we are very happy to have such an awesome team. So I want to talk a little bit about the Community One Stop for Growth. So it was, I think in 2019, before the pandemic, we launched a Partnerships for Growth plan. And during that process, we did a large stakeholder engagement process where we went all over the state. We talked to municipalities and communities and applicants of our programs. And what we heard is that our process was kind of clunky. We had a bunch of different applications on different timelines. Some were on paper, some were online. It was just really hard for people to navigate. So what we did, and for those of us who haven't always worked in the public sector, it seems like kind of a no-brainer, but we combined a lot of our grants into one application portal, and it has been fantastic. We had our first round last year. We're in the middle of our second round, which I know you and I were just talking about, Mayor. Last year we received 360 applications requesting over $300 million. We were able to fund 196 of them, totaling about $88.6 million. One of the coolest things about the One Stop is we were able to look at all the applications holistically. Juan and others know we became obsessed with this map, so we wanted to be sure that we hit every corner of the state, and we did that. And we also really focused on equity. We had a third of our grants in gateway cities, a third in housing choice communities, and a third in rural and small towns. I'll say this year the demand is even higher. We received 523 applications requesting over $455 million. We're in a bit of a precarious situation right now. I think some of you may have been following the economic development bill that we filed back in April. Unfortunately, that did not get over the finish line this legislative session. So we're still figuring out how much money we have, but some of our bond authorizations, specifically MassWorks, are kind of in limbo right now. So we're hopeful that working with our colleagues in the state legislature, we remain optimistic that an economic development bill will pass soon. So the Melrose project, I know you described this already. Not all of the work that we do is flashy and big, beautiful buildings. A lot of the work we do is underground, and people make fun of me that I love culverts. They are a critical part of the work that we do, and it makes really important projects possible, like what you're doing with housing. So I do want to mention all of the work that Melrose is doing towards housing, and that was one of the key things that stuck out for us when we were going through all of these applications. You're a housing choice community, and you're also in compliance with our new MBTA guidelines. So thank you for all your work that you're doing to promote and support more housing. And of course, thank you to developers who are willing to do this. Kyle, it's nice to see you. Thank you for doing that. So in closing, we are very proud of projects like this. We're very proud to support this application and this grant, especially those that create more housing. And I think I now have the most fun part where I get to actually present the award. I wish I had a big check, but they told me I'm not allowed to do that, so all I have is this.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Terry, always a pleasure to welcome folks that are interested in Melrose, and perhaps you move here when we get this done. That would be absolutely delightful. When we talk about partnerships, there are many that have to come together to make things like this happen. Certainly, our delegation in the state legislature has been instrumental in supporting programming and funding at the state level that allows things like this to happen. I want to thank Representative Lippert-Garabedian, who couldn't be with us today, and I do want to welcome back to Melrose our good friend, terrific supporter of the city, Jason Lewis, to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Brodeur. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Mayor, did you arrange for Melrose's finest graffiti artist to take care of the back of the building?
Perhaps there'll be mural opportunity.
So we would have the perfect backdrop for this morning's event. On behalf of myself and Representative Lippert-Garabedian, we are just delighted to see this project moving forward. This kind of project is exactly what we had in mind in the state legislature when we have provided funding for the MassWorks program and other economic development and housing programs like this. We, I think, all understand that in order to have a strong future in the greater Boston region, we have to build more housing. And we have to build housing that is affordable to families and seniors and others at different income levels. And if we don't do so, we're really putting the future of our region at risk. And this is going to be a great example of that because it will be a mixed-use development. We will contribute to the vitality of Melrose's downtown, but importantly, it will provide additional housing, including affordable housing units as well, thanks to Melrose's commitment to inclusionary zoning and affordable housing. But in order to make projects like this work, there are infrastructure challenges, and I'm also a big fan of culverts. It's one of our greatest infrastructure needs, actually, is repairing and replacing and updating culverts. And of course, that's what this grant is going to enable us to do. So not only does it enable this fantastic redevelopment, but it also will contribute to our improved stormwater management, as the mayor said, which is becoming more and more of an issue with climate change. So I want to offer my gratitude to my colleague, Representative Lipa-Garabedian. I want to offer our gratitude and thanks to the Baker administration, Secretary Keneally, and the team for selecting this project for this sizable grant, $615,000. And I want to offer my gratitude and congratulations to Mayor Brodeur and your terrific team for putting such a great project application forward that enabled the city to secure this funding, and very much look forward to seeing finally the redevelopment of this parcel into something that will be a real destination and a source of pride for the city of Melrose. So thank you very much.
So I've talked about the state and local partnership, and that's all well and good, and we can get the culvert done, but without a willing partner, at the private level, nothing gets developed. And we have a terrific partner in this case that I'm going to welcome up to say a few words. Kyle Russo, who is now the owner of Green Rise Homes, that is has his materials before our various regulatory agencies. We are looking forward to working with him to bring this to fruition. Mr. Russo, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor Brodeur. So I am Kyle Russo. I'm one of the owners of the building behind us. And I wanted to first say a big thank you to everyone from the City of Melrose, the Mayor's office, the Planning Department, as well as HSH Engineering. I know that there was a lot of work that went into this application, and I really want to thank you all for that. I also, of course, want to thank the Housing and Economic Development Secretary's office for helping get this done. So we are super excited about this project, and I think it's really important to note how critical the culvert relocation is to this project. We simply cannot build anything here without the relocation of the culvert that runs right through the center of the building. And so the city's willingness to work with us on solving this problem has been really an exceptional experience. And in the future, we are really looking forward to this site being an incredible entrance to Melrose's downtown area. And we are a transit-oriented site here with the MBTA bus across the street, as well as the commuter rail just less than half a mile away. And this project will bring a lot of economic development as well as housing, of course. We're envisioning, a restaurant potentially going into this space, and we think that will generate anywhere from 30 to 40 new jobs. And so we think that this mixed use of this building is really ideal for this location. Of course, we'll also be overlooking the Great L Pond, and we think it'll be a really beautiful product when it's finished. We're applying for 18 apartment units on top of retail, and of course 3 of those units will be affordable, so we're happy to be able to provide some affordable housing to the city as well. The last thing I just wanted to say is I think this project represents for us an opportunity to breathe some life back into this building, which has clearly fallen into disrepair over the last decade or so. And so we're very excited about the prospect of really revitalizing this whole block here and the entrance into Melrose's downtown district. Thank you.
Sorry about the truck. Sometimes these outdoor events can be a little bit tricky. But to close, it really is all about having a vision and following through on it. Melrose has a history of being what's called a streetcar suburb, and kind of going back to the future is a little bit what we're talking about here. It will require continued investment around some of our public transportation assets, which we all know we're struggling with right now. I want to add my voice to the undersecretaries about the importance of that economic development bill as part of a sustainable strategy into the future. I know our delegation is working very hard to bring those assets to bear and that investment to bear so we can move forward. But this is the beginning of the next chapter in Melrose's development. I couldn't be more excited to be at the helm during this particular time, because this is really going to be a landmark achievement for a lot of different people. Looking forward to coming back, hopefully in the near future, for a ribbon cutting, and who knows, then maybe our next investment from the Commonwealth in a continuing state partnership to do some great things. I want to thank Governor Baker and his administration, all the folks from the city who've worked to make this happen, our state delegation, and our private sector partners, and on to the future. Thanks very much.